All right, welcome. I'm going to bring us back from closed session. It is now 7:01, and we'll move through our agenda. Welcome to everybody. And actually, before we get started, if we can just take a minute of silence or a few seconds of silence for everything that's going on overseas right now, it's pretty bad. And so if we could just take a moment of silence for Ukraine. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. This meeting is, there was nothing to report out from closed session. And just to let you know, this meeting is being recorded for live streaming and archiving on the district YouTube channel. If you please stand and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. Can we get a motion to approve the agenda as written?
I move that we approve the agenda as written.
Can I get a second? Okay, perfect. Roll call, please.
President Seda?
Yes.
Trustee Moss?
Yes.
Trustee Ferrucci? Here. And Trustee Maselli?
Yes.
I think that is,
Yeah, he's here. He's here. Okay, our next item, number 8, is our highlight of Willie B. Atkins Scholars Program. And Dr. Young?
Good, yes, we're thrilled to be able to offer the Willie B. Atkins program at our school districts this year, a very full extended offering to our students. And so we have a number of representatives here tonight. We're so happy that you're here, and we look forward to hearing from you about the Willie B. Atkins Scholars Program. Welcome.
Thank you. It is so good to be here in person and see everybody's faces for the Thank you so much, Superintendent, Board, trustees, staff, and most of all, the Benicia community. My name is Tiffany Jones, and I serve as one of the directors of the Willie B. Atkins Scholars Program. And we are excited and honored to be here to give you a highlight of what has been going on since we started in your district on or about October of 2021. The train left, and we have been moving at lightning speed. At this time, first of all, I want to say thank you to all of our scholars and parents that have come on this evening to share in this joyous event and kind of give you all an update on what's been going on with us. Next, I would like to bring to the microphone Dr. Edison Kelly to give you guys some more information and to give you a little bit more about what's going to happen tonight in our presentation. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
You'll hear from me a little later.
I'm not going to say much more because we're about to make a presentation to you. So it's all going to be said within our presentation. So we're going to first start off with the video.
The Willie B. Atkins program is helping me get closer to that by making my
I pledge that from this day forward, I pledge that from this day forward, I will strive to love my brothers and sisters as I love myself. I will strive to improve myself spiritually, morally, and academically.
I've already knew what I want to do for a long time, but the Willie B. Atkins program is helping me get closer to that by making my portfolio and preparing me for college.
Applying for scholarships, like talk to your counselor, go to your school website.
Resume, your transcripts, and everything like that that could help colleges recognize you.
It helps you in life.
I pledge that I will study hard and develop my mind and my spirit.
The thing that gets me fired up in the morning is a cup of coffee.
And I like to run track.
I can't do nothing without music.
I pledge to learn all I can about the contributions of those who came before me. I want to understand what the struggle is all about.
I made a lot of friends within the Olivia Atkins program, people that I didn't know before.
I pledge to increase my knowledge of my culture and the cultures of others, to improve my knowledge of self so that I may live with purpose.
Well, I'll become a senior in August.
Can't wait to get a job and I'll get my grades up.
Go to college. All I know is that I want to go into business.
I pledge to set realistic goals and develop a superior work ethic.
I've enjoyed the sense of community, being in the program with people who look like me and be able to talk with different issues. That's me.
I pledge to reach back and pull up my sisters and my brothers with the helping hand of brotherhood. I realize that we are stronger together than we are apart. All this I pledge.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ajaya Stargel. I'm a first-year Willoughby Atkins scholar and an 11th grader attending Benicia High School. What you just heard was our pledge, and now I would like to introduce one of our chair members, Ms. LaShonda Wallace.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Good evening. Once again, my name is LaShonda Wallace, and I am the site coordinator at Benicia High School. And so we're just going to run through our program for you. Thank you.
Is there a way to make her microphone a little bit louder?
Oh, I can speak loud.
Oh,
okay.
I wasn't. I just,
No,
we
what
wanna
I
hear
do
you.
have is a big mouth. Okay, I can. Okay. So this is just the history and the mission of the Willoughby Atkins Scholars Program. So the Willoughby Atkins Scholars Program began in 1986 as the Tanner Project in the Vallejo Unified School District. Mr. Willoughby Atkins, who was the Director of Special Projects, applied for the grant known as the Sally B. Tanner Grant. It was a 3-year federal grant, and we are here in 2022. Okay, hey. Our program's objective is to increase the number of African American students enrolling in and graduating from college. State funding for the program ended June 30th, 1989. So since the program's inception, it has evolved into a comprehensive community district co-funded support program for middle school and high school students and their parents. The hard work and effort by parents, local sororities and fraternities, churches, school districts, other community organizations, and individuals has generated funds so that the program has continued to thrive. So our general purpose and the nature of the program is to increase the number of students with hold on, this way. Can't see that. That's my age. With aspirations for post-secondary education, design instructional strategies which work with African American students, and develop holding power strategies for reluctant accelerated learners. Some of our expected outcomes include increasing the number of students who will enroll in college after high school, increase student enrollment and success in college track courses. Students learn to practice goal setting and explore career choices. We'd like to expose them to successful role models and college experiences, to develop an understanding of the value of superior ethic and the results generated by it. Our parent support. Traditionally, high schools do not involve parents as a support group, although we know that most high schools now have those. This program welcomes and requires parents as partners and provides activities to help empower parents to make better educational decisions for and with their students. Parents are expected to provide encouragement and support to their students and to develop and expand upon skills and knowledge needed to empower both parents and students. So our staff, our directors who you've heard from, Ms. Tiffany Jones and Dr. Edison Kelly, and our Director Emeritus is Mr. Joe Jones. Our parent network coordinators are myself, LaShonda Wallace, Juanisha Beaver, and Pam Carey. And then our Benicia program staff, myself, LaShonda Wallace, Dr. Edison Kelly, Tiffany Jones, Terry Davis, on the far end, Lisa Jackson, and Julian Pilot.
gosh. Just expounding a little bit on who our staff is. You have very capable staff that's working with your children. We have, again, LaShonda Wallace, who's our coordinator, who runs the site. And we have Miss Lisa Jackson, who's actually a social worker, along with, and Miss LaShonda Wallace is also a social worker as well. Miss Terry Davis is actually a Superior Court judge. And we have Miss Tiffany Jones, who's actually an academic support provider, working for the Vallejo City Unified School District. Again, myself, I work student services, former principal. So you have capable people working with your youth during that time period. We meet every Wednesday from 5:30 to 6:30. We have our study hall, and from 6:30 usually goes on to 7:30, 8 o'clock is when we do our program. Thank you. Would you allow us to meet at Benicia High School? We meet in room L116, and our current enrollment right now is around 31 students. Okay, now again, but we're still open. You know, if anyone's interested, we want them to come and apply. Okay, now I'm going to turn the mic over to Miss Lisa Jackson.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So I have the opportunity to go through our calendar with you, just so that you have a better understanding of the types of activities that we're focusing on every month. So I'm going to go through that really quickly. So at the beginning of the school year, September, October, we really spent some time welcoming the students and our parents and doing an overview of the program so that they really understand what we had to offer and what their children and scholars would be getting throughout the course of the year. So did the program overview, talked about educational platforms. We did exercises so that the scholars could get to know themselves, learn what their study skills were, where they could use improvements, what their preferences were, preparing for college. And then, of course, we have a parallel senior track. So when we have the scholars in every Wednesday night, when we meet in Benicia, we always pull the seniors out and work with them individually in accordance with their aspirations for going to college or vocational school or whatever their goal is. In November and December, we really started focusing on the portfolio. And the portfolio is something really that can benefit everyone, even as adults who are already employed and with careers. So it is something that they generate that speaks to who they are. It includes their statement of purpose. It could have the responses to college prompts. It's got their transcripts, letters of recommendation, scholarship awards, certificates, sports achievements, and it's something that they can build on. And I will say that I'll share that my children, who all three of them went through this program, as they graduate from college, they actually update their portfolio to help launch them into the work world. So it's an awesome tool. We also identify colleges that they're interested in, talk about financial resources. The goal is for everyone to go to college debt-free. And we have resources to help make that happen, people to come talk to them. We also, again, like I said, we always have the parallel senior track where we're focusing on ACT, SAT prep, that kind of thing. Through the winter and the spring, we are fine-tuning our portfolios, talking about scholarships, exposing them to college fairs. They actually just went to a college fair in Oakland over the weekend. It was a great success. Talk more about financial aid, and then we get ready to launch our Rites of Passage program, which actually we just had the opening ceremony the other evening, and you'll hear more about that. We spend time talking about, like I said, debt-free, securing debt-free education. We actually also do a virtual HBCU tour, a historically Black college university tour. Typically, we actually go physically, but because of the pandemic, we're not able to. So most recently in Benicia, we had a virtual tour of Clark Atlanta University and had an alumni come speak to the children and field questions and answers. So that was awesome. We also speak to financial literacy, sponsored by Travis Credit Union. We have what's called Mad City Money, where there's actually simulations. So for example, we set up a mall, they have to go shopping. You have people trying to get you to buy certain things, but you only have a certain amount of money. What are you gonna buy? It's really very fun. And at the same time, they learn great lessons. And again, while doing all this, we have the parallel track for seniors. Thank you.
Good evening, good evening. My name is Julian Pilot Hutcherson, and I've had the honor of being one of the counselors for the Willoughby Atkins Project for the past 3 years. And just to continue on some of the events that we've done just this year in 2022, in January, we had the Securing Degrees Debt-Free program, where we had two students from New York come and describe how they're able to navigate high school and the college scholarship process. Together, they were able to amass over $3 million. And this is so important because we know that there's so much money out there, right? But a lot of times it's not grabbed upon, right? So I'm glad they were able to come to describe the scholarship process, different tricks, hacks to be able to make sure that the schooling is funded. And in February, we had two lovely ladies of the Delta Sigma Theta sorority come and encourage students to learn more about how they can be involved in the community, especially with civic engagement. So we came and talked about how to pre-register even under 18 years old. So we definitely encourage our students to be more active in the community. And then we also had a guest speaker, Montre Everett. He's the director of financial aid at UC Davis School of Law. He came to speak about how to navigate the financial aid system, because a lot of times we're not given the support when we actually do go to school. We know about financial aid, but how do we go about it? Who do we talk to? What information do we need to give? What forms we need to fill out? And Montre Everett gave so much game when it came to that. And also, of course, we want our students involved, but most importantly, we also want our parents involved, right? So we have our parent meeting at least once a month. We'll go over everything that we've gone over through the month and upcoming programs going on throughout the year.
So as that was stated earlier, we came back on Saturday out of how many students from the Bay Area do y'all estimate were there? It was a couple thousand Bay Area students from as far away as Stockton, Fresno, that came to the Historically Black College Expo. This was a wonderful opportunity for our students to practice everything that they have been learning on Wednesday night. And I'm gonna take a minute to brag. Out of those hundreds of thousands of students that came, your students, our babies were the best dressed, were the most articulate, the most prepared. And as a result of that, 3 students from Benicia Unified School District were able to get a scholarship. 3, as juniors. And I'm gonna take the time, because I see 1 here, 2, 3. All 3 of you guys stand up. When I tell you I was so proud and screaming and hollering in the front, as juniors, $1,000, $500, $1,000. Thank you, guys. There's going to be a lot more of that to come. Your students are working really hard. I want to take the time to thank the students and parents that came out, because it was a long day for every last one of us, but it was well worth it. A lot of our students got information on the schools and particular universities that they want to go to. They attended workshops, not only to talk about how to pay for school, kind of reiterating what we've done, but also being able to talk to college admissions officers right then and there. And we had some seniors get accepted on the spot. So for $7.50 and $5 bridge toll and maybe about $40 parking and a couple, $100 in meals and stuff, I think it was well worth for our students to be able to go there and participate in that. So I just wanted to say thank you all who were able to come, and congratulations to our winners.
Great, thank you. Good evening. My name is Terry Davis, and I'm a volunteer with the Atkins Project here in Benicia. And each year, the Atkins Project conducts a rite of passage. And I'm going to talk to you tonight about rites of passage. Some of you actually participated with us, or at least observed, on Tuesday evening, our opening ceremony, which was conducted by adults. Just so that you know, we want to make sure that you are there for the closing ceremony, because at the closing ceremony, the young people themselves put together the program, conducted, and participate. So I hope that we'll see all of you there. Just so that you know, rites of passage is designed to instill a sense of family and a sense of belonging to our young people, while at the same time imbuing them with a sense of their cultural history and helping them to identify themselves. We're trying to teach them about our culture, our traditions, our history, and we want to build their self-worth and a positive identity. Rites of Passage provides the young people with a safe place to speak about things that are critical to them, issues that we don't think about, but that they think about. And we also provide them with life skills that they'll use as they go on to college and then eventually into productive citizens in our communities. During the next 8 weeks, our scholars are going to be using the 7 principles of Kwanzaa to discover and nurture their gifts while understanding their place in our society. We'll have a series of presenters who are going to come. In fact, on March the 8th, we'll have a doctor, a psychiatrist, who will come in and talk to them about mental health issues and traversing through the pandemic into post-pandemic times, if that ever happens. And we'll be talking to them about bullying and depression. We're going to discuss social media presence and the ill effects of being on social media. We'll also talk about how to present ourselves online and in the real world. We will be discussing money management. As you heard before, we're going to have Travis come in. Many of you are aware of Mad City Money. We'll be doing that for our young people, and they've been kind enough to agree to do a Saturday. We'll be talking about male and female relationships, and the students themselves have an opportunity with moderators to ask each other questions. So the males ask questions of the females in return ask questions of the young men. And these are things that they have been thinking about that they don't talk to us about, but they're willing to talk to each other about. The scholars are also going to create a community service project where they're going to find some task within their community that they would like to look at, observe, and solve. And all of this is going to be done through the assistance of members of the Omega Psi Phi fraternity and Delta Sigma Theta sorority, as well as actual business owners, medical and legal professionals, college admissions counselors, and actually some media personalities. And that'll be our rites of passage, and we hope to see you when we complete in May.
Is there anybody else coming up to talk? Okay. Thank you.
Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Haley Fox. I am a junior attending Benicia High School and a 4th-year Willie D. Atkins Scholar. And today I'm going to show you my hard copy and digital portfolio. So we brought these so you can pass them around. As you can see, there are QR codes on the front. This will link you straight to our digital portfolio. We also have business cards inside if you guys would like to take one and scan it and look for yourself. If you want to on your own time. Okay. I think it's the screen that's stuff. I think it's the screen that's stuff. Yeah. Because it's on the thing. It's not on the screen. Okay. Okay. In my portfolio, it includes a personal statement, a resume, my transcripts, um, letters of recommendation, honors and awards, exam scores, and community service, and also college interest. Um, Everything should be the same except with the there are 2 letters in there that aren't in there. The from colleges actually that I just got today. There was one from the University of Chicago and other stuff that came in. But in my personal on the home page, it's just basic information about me. The same thing that's on the front of the cover. And then can you go to the Get to Know Me page? Okay, on the Get to Know Me page, it's basically stuff just about me, just so that colleges and whoever is looking at it knows a little bit about me, because I feel like if I'm asking you to look at stuff for me and to accept me into your college or for the scholarship opportunity, you should at least know a little bit about me. So I provided a page that tells you that. I actually got it from Ajaya. She started it first, and I was like, that's a really good idea. So I put one on there. Next is my personal statement. This personal statement actually helped me win the scholarship. This is what I used for my application. So yeah, I will use in the future, I'll use this for scholarship opportunities, college applications, any other business opportunities, anything I can actually use it for. Like I just used it for my NHS, National Honor Society application too. So having this personal statement is very useful because I could just use it in any way I want to and use any piece of it or anything like that. Next is my resume. On my resume, I added stuff, of course, that I did. Stuff, volunteer work, honors, rewards, things like that. Also, on my digital portfolio, I added photos and stuff just in case, just to make it personal, because I feel like people should know who you are. People should see what you're doing. This photo right here is from the Jack and Jill of America Foundation, or yeah, foundation, right? Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. We do events where we help the community. They also help with just like the Willie B. Atkins program. So yeah. And then next is my transcripts. I added a unofficial transcript and my actual or semester transcript from last year. You can see that. Yeah, I added both on there. At the bottom too, there are footnotes that have my contact information. So that might be nice to know. These are all letters of recommendation. This way I actually made it so you can click through them instead of scrolling all the way down, because I know that could probably be a hassle. So you can click through them. There's a couple there. And like I said, everything that's in this digital portfolio is also in the hard copy. So if you wanted to see, you can look through it and all the letters will be there. Same thing with the honors and awards. You could just click through them. I added some more pictures to make it personal. There's my first Willie B. Atkins award, actually. My first one that I got. And then next, I take my SAT on the 12th of this month, so there is no scores for you, but I promise it will be updated very soon. Here's my community service letter. My brother, he plays professional baseball, and he holds a homeless feed every year. And I participate in the homeless feed. Him and his best friend hold it because they have a brand, and we teamed up with Jack and Jill of America, and we did a homeless feed where we fed, I think it was 1,000 people, over 1,000 people. So yeah. And then next is the college acceptance and interest. I don't have any acceptances yet, but I do have interest. So I added a couple of my interest letters, and then there's my family. I really wanted to have that there. Yeah, I believe that's it. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Jordan. I'm in the 8th grade. I go to Benicia Middle School, and I'm a first year Willie B. Atkins Scholar. And this is my digital portfolio. So on the front, it just has my name, my school. I don't know why it has 2021. And then if you scroll down to the bottom, it has like my future goals. So what I want to do when I get older. So then the next like slide has my resume. So since I'm only in the 8th grade, I haven't really worked anywhere. I just have like what I've done. So I do Viking TV at the school, and I like to braid my friend's hair. And then at the bottom, it has my awards. So I've gotten an honor roll. I've been in spelling bee when I was in elementary, and we won the basketball tournament. So yeah. Next, it has my personal statement. That's just a picture of me doing hair because I like to do hair and I talk about doing hair, and my personal statement. And then on the bottom, it has when we won the championship on my basketball team. And the next one is my transcript. So the first one that you see, that's my first quarter grades. And then the next one are my grades from 6th grade to now. So yeah, you can see that. And then the next one is my letters of recommendation. I only have 2 right now because I have 2. And I was trying to make it to see where it says you need access. So when I was looking, it was saying that you could see it. So the first one is from Dr. Kelly. And then my second one is from my 6th and 7th grade art teacher. And yeah, that's it.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Tucson Hartfield. I'm a 10th grader at Benicia High School. I'm a first year Willie B. Atkins Scholar, and I really want to talk about how this program affected me. To be honest, before this, I really didn't know anything about college. I didn't know anything about personal finance, personal private loans. This terrible. I didn't I did not know anything about college of interest, how scholarships work. I just always thought I'm gonna go to college, get a scholarship from bands, and I thought that would work, but that isn't how it worked. This program helped me with my personal speaking, as we did personal speaking every day, giving us like a chance to make choices between 800 credit score and a $250,000 was very crucial for us, as 800 credit score is way better as you can acquire a job and other things that come with it. It just follows. And so this program is very, very crucial. I will recommend it to anybody. It's anybody that can take it. And as the program developed, I developed like a friendship and a brotherhood with my program members. And it's just like an honor to be a part of it. And thank you.
What instrument do you play?
I play 2 instruments. I play any type of drums, and I play saxophone.
Nice. Thank you. Wow.
So once again, thank you. We do have our scholars have something for you. We thank you for letting us have this time so that you know where your investment is and see what these young people are doing. And yes, we make them talk every time. So there's some that, starting, hello, but they're learning. And so this is just a token from our Willie B. Atkins Scholars Program to you all.
And that's really very nice.
If you have any questions, we can answer any questions. If not, we thank you for your time. Dr. Kelly?
So I have a question.
Oh, you guys may have to trade sizes, sorry.
We have to what?
You might have to trade sizes.
Oh, yeah, probably trade. I have a 2 extra large.
Anybody got a 10?
That, isn't it?
A 10 size. We can
Thank
do it after
you
the meeting.
so
I
much
got a
for this
10.
presentation and for everything that you're doing to help our youth become great. It's what a boost, what an incredible program. Thank you so much. And I'm really proud of you kids out there that are, whether you're home watching or you're here, keep up the good work. You're going to go far. That's excellent.
Yeah, and I also wanted to say thank you. I really do appreciate this presentation this evening because it does give, clarity for those who may not understand the purpose and the mission of the Willoughby Atkins Scholars Program. It is important that all of our students know their path. And so, for me, it was just listening and watching like the portfolios and everything is so exciting to me because when you graduate from high school, you should know like where you're going to go. And a lot of times, unfortunately, all of our students do not get that opportunity. And then our students don't get their voices. And so this is absolutely critical. And I just want to say I appreciate it. Thank you so much to my sisters of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated and to my brothers of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity. So thank you so much for being here for our kids. And we look forward to the ceremony. So please let us know when the date is so that we can also participate. I was able to attend the other evening with President Zeta and other members of our district. And so again, I just want to say thank you, and we really appreciate this.
Thank you.
I would like to volunteer my services as a guest speaker if you ever need somebody. I have tons of experience as a mother and as an educator, especially how to get scholarships from universities, financial aid, all that kind of stuff. So I have done that a lot for many years, for the past 15 years or so as a parent. So if you ever need a guest speaker, it will be an honor.
So we will get your information. Thank you for that.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you again.
I just, Mr. Kelly, I know you know, Dr. Kelly now, okay. I know Edison from way back. Just a reminder again, and I just want to dovetail on Gethsemane. This is incredible. It is absolutely incredible. It's the first time I've gotten to see it in action, and I am humbled by the work that you were doing with our students, and I just need to say thank you. But I also would like to request you, Edison, if you could just make sure we have some of those dates so that in fact we can come by and or make sure that we're there for your passage ceremony. Would absolutely be honored to have that.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Leslie, she's been great. She has been great. We've been going back and forth, and you know me by now, so you know it takes a lot of patience to deal with me on email. And she's
Which is why, okay, that's good.
But yeah, thank you, Leslie. So I'll keep giving information to you, and she'll continue giving information to you.
Awesome. So Edison and I go way back from Mac. So when we were principals together, we were working that out. So that's great to see. So it's good to see you again. So thank you.
All right. We're going to move on to our next item, which are our reports. First up are our student reports, and I will call on Alice Wells from Liberty.
Good evening, President Zeta, Superintendent Dr. Young, and fellow trustees and cabinet members. My name is Alice Wells, and I'm from Liberty High School. Last month, we held a blood drive that Mr. Pound organized, and several students donated to the amazing cause. The Kyle Highland Foundation sponsors an event called Chalk for Love. This event was to bring awareness to teen dating violence. Students were encouraged to write words describing positive and healthy relationships. Things like love yourself, communication, things like that. To wrap up February, we held a Friday advisory competition. We had students play in a 3v3 basketball tournament, Nintendo Super Smash tournament, designing advisory valentines, and other games. We were also judged on our Black History Month door design. As a side note, we would like to thank all those that came over to Liberty High School to vote for our door designs. Congratulations to Ms. Souza's class for winning. They will have the honor of having Liberty, the little eagle that they're stealing from us again for the next month. But then we'll get it back next month, so it's okay. For Sources of Strength, this month we will be addressing the topic of mental wellness. We will explore ways we can create positive impacts on our mental, physical, and social well-being. Our art class and club have been working with Mr. Von Ocken. He specializes in photography. We have been working in and outside the classroom, exploring different ways of capturing light, movement, and still life. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Alice, and I won't forget. Alice Wells. Okay, and now I'm going to introduce Marie Marcus from Benicia High School.
Hello, I am Marie Marcus. I am the ASB Vice President. And so March 1st, we had our blood drive, and I believe we collected a lot of blood. I'm not sure the number. I know that we got less than we expected because I think there was probably like 8 people that were iron deficient. So unfortunately, we did not hit the maximum like we did last time. And then this week and next week we have our WASC visits. And then on Thursday we have, that's today. There's a baseball game and a boys volleyball game tonight. On Saturday there's a softball game and a band review. And then next week, leadership is hosting the intramural dodgeball tournament throughout the week during lunch. And we also have a spirit week. On Monday, it's dress to impress or dress to rest. Tuesday, it's country or country club. Wednesday is West Coast or East Coast. Thursday is bikers or surfers. And Friday is blue or gold. And then Monday, March 14th, prom bids will become available. And prom ticket sales will start on March 21st.
Thank you. I was actually at that Chalk for Life event at Liberty. I was able to visit that, but they do it, the stuff, and they did the blood drive also at Liberty, I believe, too. So such great programs. We so appreciate you sharing them with us. Thank you so much. And at this time, you guys are welcome to leave. You don't need to stay through the rest of our program. So have a good night, you guys. All right, I'm going to move on to our item 9.2, our superintendent report. Dr. Young.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Zeta. I just want to thank you, President Zeta, for taking a moment to think about Ukraine and our thoughts and prayers to that very tragic and serious situation there. So thank you for doing that. On another note, I just wanted to highlight that there are a lot of really positive things taking place in our school district. And to me, this is an exciting time of the year because we've got about 3 months of school left. And we always remind ourselves to think about finishing strong because that's always a goal for us, and that helps us pivot into next year. So some of those things I want to highlight real quick. We have the strategic plan LCAP survey. That's gone out to the public, and so we really need your feedback on that. So if you get an opportunity to respond to that, that helps us process that information for our goals, actions, metrics, and how we allocate money for those programs. So please look for that. The other thing we worked on, I think it was last week, maybe the week before. So school districts have these documents called board policies and administrative regulations. And we spent 3 days with a representative, actually a couple of representatives from CSBA, California School Boards Association, to go through all of those policies that we have from stem to stern and make sure that they're up to date and following ed code, et cetera. So that was a big, heavy lift. I want to thank all the members of the team who helped us do that. And so we'll put that together and we'll bring it to you, and you'll have an opportunity to review those because they will need your ultimate approval. But we'll be glad to get that done. And I want to thank Ms. Martinez because she helped us move that effort forward. So thanks for that. Yeah. A couple other quick things. We have our second community evening with our group Epic Education. We had one earlier in the year, and the next one is on March 23rd at 6:30. And info went out on that. So if you're able to join us for that, the community, please do that. We'd love to have you there. And then the last item I'd like to bring up is we have a goal in the district about, we talk about it a lot, that wanting our kids to be reading at or above grade level at third grade. It's a big noble goal, and we keep striving for that. And part of that effort is something we put together, Benicia Reads. I'd like to thank Dr. Beeson on the work around that. It's in a partnership between BUSD and the city, focusing all kids on reading by grade 3, developing strong language and literacy from birth to 5 years. And there's a really cool event. It's on April 2nd from 10 in the morning till noon, and it's called Books and Blankets. So we'll get information out on that. So that'll be a fun event for us with the focus on the importance of literacy. So there it is. Thank you. Good.
Thank you. And now we move on to our board report. Oh, yeah. Never mind. We're going to move on to our board reports, but before I'll just go ahead. I just want to apologize to David Hartfield Dials that I was going to have you talk when it was the time for that area, but it's coming up next, so I apologize I didn't call on you. So board reports. I'll start, and I just want to say that I attended the Willie B. Atkins opening ceremony for the Rites of Passage. It was phenomenal. I was so pleased to be a part of that group, and I'm learning so much as I watch the steps that take place. I love the presentation with the Kwanzaa and the dancing and just all of it. It was just a wonderful evening, and I'm so glad that I was part of that I could be there to celebrate all of you. So, and I think that's it for right now. Thank you. Anybody else? Yes.
I just wanted to share that I decided to walk all of the sites today. Not today, these last 2 days. It took me 2 days to walk all of the sites, but I actually did. And, I was recalling how this is something I've done for the last 8 years on the board. And we really took a left-hand turn, a hard left-hand turn, about 2 years ago when COVID hit our society. And, schools shut down, so there was clearly nowhere to walk. And then when we came back, it was really important that we honored our schools and our students and our teachers, and we not put additional people on the campus aside from the people that were really important to the learning. So that was the teachers and the students and their principals. So we didn't want to invade and touch the sites at that time. So, but the other day I decided, it used to be such a great connection, and it was an opportunity to just kind of see what was going on. So I popped in schools. I didn't tell any principals I was coming. I just showed up at the door and said, "Hi, I'm here and I'm going to take a stroll." And, most of them were great about it. Teachers were great about it. I think I rattled a few cages of a couple of principals because they're like, "Oh my God, are we in trouble?" And it was like, no, I just needed to touch the campus and pop into classrooms and talk to a couple of kids and just reaffirm why we do all this, because we spend an enormous amount of time with our responsibilities on the board. So it was a great 2 days. I will say it was like working a full day each day, and I was really tired at the end. I put a lot of steps on, but to talk to kids, to see them laughing, to watch the kids running in PE, it was like, oh my God, I couldn't do that anymore. But it was just a great opportunity to get out there again. And, I'm hoping that as we continue to move along, it's going to be something that'll be okay, and the sites will be comfortable with as we continue to reach out again, as we kind of figure out what the new normal is really going to look like. I don't know, but I'd like to thank them all for being good sports and letting me just ring the bell or open the door and walk in. So it was great, and for that I want to say thank you.
Thanks for doing that. Thank you. Thanks so much. Okay, Mr. Maselli. Oh, I thought you had raised your hand. Okay.
I didn't have any additional information.
Okay, then we're going to go ahead and move on to item 10. Please note that BUSD has moved into in-person board meetings. We ask that members of the public who wish to attend, including those who wish to address the board, wear a mask over their nose and mouth at all times. All functions of the board meeting, including public comments, will take place in person. Members of the public may address the board at a regular meeting on any item within the board's jurisdiction. Speaker cards are available at the entrance table. Please note the item you wish to speak to and submit a card to the board secretary. The board president will then call open session, general comments, and during the public comment item. Comments for items on the agenda will be called during the specific item. Comments are limited to no more than 3 minutes per speaker, or the board may limit the total time to 20 minutes per item with the timer displayed on the monitors. So you will note that those will be up there. By law, no action may be taken on any item raised during public comment periods, and matters may be referred to staff for placement on a future agenda by the governing board. Please be reminded to keep your comments respectful, as students may be watching the board meeting. Thank you. And we've also added a bell, like a little ding-dong bell, just to, sorry, just at the end of 3 minutes, if you hear the bell, it's time to wrap it up. So I'm going to call our first person, David Hartfield Dials. Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you for letting me stand here on tonight. We are here. My name is David Hartfield Dials. My son is Toussaint Hartfield Dials, and he's in the Willie B. Atkins program. And I am a local pastor in Vallejo. So I am super excited and just wonderfully glad that he has launched himself into a program that intentionally sets him on a path towards purpose, making his dreams become reality. So I commend the board for allowing this to happen. I commend the board in advance. My son is just a freshman. Freshman?
Oh, wow.
Sophomore. My son is just a sophomore.
Get him straight.
So he has some years to go. So I expect the Willie B. Atkins program to continue to be there for the next years to come. So we thank you for that. And we also thank him for the Rites of Passage program with Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated and Omega Psi Phi. But he was raised in a house with Alpha Phi Alpha, so we expect that to come soon. All right? You will get that later. So thank you. Again, thank you so much. We intentionally, he started at Robert B. Simple years ago. We moved to Louisiana, came back, and intentionally came back to Benicia so they can continue in the Benicia school system, he and my daughter. So just know that you have done wonderful work. He is a genius in the making. My daughter is a boss in the making, and we commend you just for supporting us in that. All right. Thank you so much for your time. God bless you. I pray always with you.
Thank you. Okay, and our next speaker is Kashana Harmon Lee.
Good evening. My name is Kashana Harmon Lee. I am a longtime Benicia resident. I have had 5 children attend Benicia schools, and I've been an active and present parent in this district. I am here tonight in the response and the protest to the political and traumatizing Blue Lives Matter and then Blue Line imagery that was distributed to kids at my daughter's elementary school. This incident was traumatizing to myself, my family, as well as other people in this community. I would also like to point out the lack of urgency in the response to this incident. The incident was hurtful to members of this community, and the parties tasked with our children's educational, mental, and emotional well-being did not see the need to quickly act or implement the RIR, which is Recognize, Interrupt, and Repair, a wonderful response and action suggested by the equity team EPIC, a team that was hired by the district to help assist and guide with things of this matter. This repair from this incident has to be done across the board. There is not one person or one group that should be on an island alone when it comes to dealing with this. Everyone from the top to the bottom, as well as outside of the school district, is responsible for what has occurred and needs to help with the repairing. They need to work together and a genuine apology needs to be given to the community. I have a few questions that I will also send via email for response. Starting with, does the Benicia Unified School District think it was appropriate for fully armed uniformed officers to distribute triggering and controversial political imagery to our children? Was EPIC contacted on the onset of this incident? What are your next steps to help your community begin to heal from this? And what protocols will be put into place to prevent this from happening in the future? My job as a parent, your job as a district, is to raise children that do not need to recover from childhood. That starts from elementary, preschool, elementary, and goes all the way up. We cannot afford to lose them with this type of trauma, because programs like this, like the Willoughby Atkins, where so many students are progressing right now, we will lose them before they get to that point. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's the end of our public comments this evening. I'm going to move on to item 11. Let's see. All matters under the consent calendar are considered by the board to be routine and will be approved by the board in one motion. There will be no discussion on these items unless members of the board, staff, or public request specific items to be pulled and discussed. So at this time, I'd like to find out if we have a motion to accept the consent calendar as written.
I move to accept the consent calendar as presented.
Thank you. Do I have
I'll
a
second it.
Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
President Seda?
Yes.
Trustee Moss? Trustee Ferrucci?
Yes.
Trustee Maselli?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, we are now, let's wait.
Do we have?
We have 3 of them. So I'm gonna ask, yes, on resolution number 22.21, we'll need a roll call vote on that particular item. Do I?
Yes. President Seda?
Yes.
Trustee Moss? Yes. Trustee Ferrucci?
Yes.
And Trustee Maselli?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And we'll need a roll call vote on resolution number 21-22-22.
President Seda?
Yes.
Trustee Maselli? Sorry, I'm going. Trustee Moss? And Trustee Ferrucci?
Yes.
Okay, great. And the final one is resolution number 21-22-23.
Okay, President Seda?
Yes.
Trustee Moss? Yes. Trustee Ferrucci?
Yes.
And Trustee Maselli?
Yes.
Thank you. We're going to move on to item number 12, Student Services and Special Ed Department update. Mrs. Corona, and I think Dr. Young, would you like to?
Welcome, Ms. Corona. She'll be giving a presentation tonight, as you said, an update on special education matters. Welcome this evening.
Thank you. Good evening, trustees, executive cabinet. Thank you for having me. I always have a hard time with this. So today, I'm going to be just giving you a short overview of what Student Services does and what the staff, what their responsibilities. I'm not going to share everything that we cover during the day-to-day basis, but the second piece is also giving you an update of Student Services. Obviously, as you know, Student Services not only covers the discipline and attendance, homeless foster youth, but we also oversee special education. The part of the presentation is giving you an update of the continuum of services that we discussed back when I first started in 2019 as a special education task force. We looked at the continuum of services for special education. So I'm going to give you an update on that and how we're doing with that. And then also special education updates as far as referrals and enrollment in our programs. So our student services staff, we have out of our office here at the district level, we have 3 staff members. We have a coordinator of mental health that oversees everything relating to mental health, wellness centers. He does oversee the intern program for counselors in conjunction with our school psychologist at one of the high schools. We do have this intern program we started. We collaborate and partner with universities, and we receive interns as they are fulfilling their practicum hours. So we are working with that. We also have our mental health coordinator oversee our students that are attending non-public schools. There are Benicia students, but unfortunately they cannot, we cannot meet their needs at the public levels. So we are, providing those services within a non-public setting. And he oversees those students. We also have the elementary counselor, and we have a mental health clinician, which are new positions for this school year. We do have the social emotional learning support. We are overseeing that piece. Last year, we had the social emotional curriculum ordered, and we implemented that. We are collecting data to see how that implementation is going and how effective it is in the classroom. So I will be later in the year bringing that data forward to you. Part of the coordinator of the student services, he also he provides supports in special education and student services. He oversees provides that support in the homeless and foster youth. I attend meetings, he attends meetings. When I'm attending IEP meetings, we both kind of tag team for IEP meetings. He does an excellent job in coaching teachers on modifications and accommodations. That is an area that is of high need, so that is something that we're currently working on. In addition to that, we are short-staffed, so he does chime in the classes and supports the students when we are not able to get subs, so he covers in those classes. He also has to assess because of the short staff that we weren't able to fill a position. And then our district behaviorist that has been with us for several years, she supports the entire district as well in behaviors and PBIS, also in mentoring the classes and supporting the classes at Robert Semple, classes for students with autism, and then our classrooms that address the high need and behavioral needs. So those are some of the things that currently our 3 staff members from my office are supporting our district. There are many other things, but it's a exhausting list. So I just wanted to just give you a brief overview of the many things that they are currently covering. Some of the student services updates, we do have special friends under us. We have currently we're servicing, this is a grant that we have with the city of Benicia, and we have to report data to the city of Benicia, but currently we are serving approximately 18 students at each school site. There is a long waiting list. One of our schools has the highest, and we have these sessions are 10 weeks long sessions. So we have our elementary counselor providing the social emotional support. Part of that elementary, the responsibility of that elementary counselor is meeting with the school sites and gathering information. And this is more of a tier 1 support. They gather information, they identify the supports that are needed, and then students are referred. There is a process on that referral piece for the counselor. So students are referred to see the counselor, and he could either address social skills, he does conflict mediation, and then also the parent-teacher consult. He consults with teachers on addressing some of the needs in the classrooms with students. Our mental health clinician also runs, in addition to conducting assessments and providing counseling to our students, she runs teen groups at Liberty High School. She also runs social skills, and she provides the social emotional, that's a built-in support for our behavioral classes at the elementary and middle school. This piece is the continuum of counseling services that was developed this year by our mental health clinician. We sat down and basically tried to pinpoint where we started, where we are in the universal level, in the 3 tiers. So this is part of that creation. There obviously, we go from RTI, as you all know, RTI, we do MTSS, which at the end of the day, everything is the same. We have different tiers and we want to address student needs. So this was created at the beginning of the school year, and these are the continuum of services to address the social emotional component. We have the SEL curriculum being implemented. We also have Second Step and then School Connect. Second Step is being done K-8 and School Connect at the high school level. We're working on PBIS and then the wellness centers this school year. Last year we had wellness centers virtually. We kind of opened them at some of the sites, and then this year we're full blown. Now we are almost fully staffed. We still need a wellness technician at the elementary level. The second tier is we have a select few, and we have also doing the special friends groups. We do social skills, and then the counseling and with school counselors, as well as the school psychologist. That's when school psychologists get involved more at the second level. We have tier 3, and that's a more unique population. It's a smaller population, and we have we hone in the specific skill sets. And we have the mental health clinician coming in if it's needed. We have assessments. We have the psychologist also being part of this tier 3. This is where we're looking at. It used to be the pyramid when we're looking at the tip of the pyramid, and if the student requires special education services, then assessments are conducted. So these are just a few pictures of the wellness centers. We have students coming into the wellness center. Some of the, we've had, during our professional development, there was a lot of positive things said during about the wellness centers. And the main focus of the wellness centers is for students to de-escalate, to the students who are feeling frustrated, overwhelmed. They come into the wellness centers. At the elementary level, they de-escalate. They have a lot of soothing activities. They have the wellness technicians there, even though they're not counselors and they're not counseling the students, but they do provide that check-in with the students, and it is part of PBIS, and that helps. So we have here some soothing. They do art. They do, some of them have, there's a teepee, I believe I have a picture of a teepee. They read stories, a lot of soothing activities to de-escalate those moments that they're feeling anxious or frustrated. Sometimes it is not a timeout area. It is more of, like I said, like a calming, soothing area. They're there for a few minutes, 10, 15 minutes, and then they're able to go back once they regroup. They're able to go back to class. And this was just, the next part is, I'll be talking about special education, and I just wanted to kind of make a note that every student can learn, just not on the same day or on the same way, and that is so true. I see that. We just have to be very creative when teaching our students with disabilities. This is the continuum of services that was a result of our special education task force. It was implemented back in 2021, 22. We fully implemented it this year in person. We started everything in 2019, 2020. So the reason for this was to ensure that we had a continuum of services for all the skill sets. We had different programs prior to this continuum of services, but now we are able to address our skills in the from the academic perspective, and then we're looking at behavior perspective as well, and then the functional instruction. So if you look at the intensive academic services, it's specialized academic instruction, but we're focusing more on the academic. And the continuum, it starts from elementary all the way to high school. Same thing for the behavior, starts from elementary and we go all the way to high school. The functional instruction, we have a few programs at the elementary level. Because we don't have students at the middle school level, there was no program created. Right now, we're looking that we're having those discussions because we have some students that are potentially going to the middle school. So we're having those discussions of how is that continuum of services going to follow those students over to the middle school. And then we have classes over at the high school as well. So that's as a result of the Special Education Task Force. I can barely see. So this next slide shows the enrollment by program, and I am going to do what someone else did because I cannot see. If you look here, this is not necessarily by school or anything like that. It's just by program, and we have I did note by school if you look at the colors, but we have so many students in the resource, and those are the least restrictive, and those are students in the general ed setting that require some type of specialized academic instruction, and they can be in a pull-out setting, or they can receive some type of specialized academic instruction within the general ed setting, but the majority of these are pull-out. Then we have the intensive academic services, and those are still within general education, and they're being pulled out, but these are students that require more time in a separate setting, in a smaller group setting, and focusing on a specific skill set to address the academics. Then we have the social behavior, which is the behavioral. Now we have separated academic from behavior. These are students that might be at grade level academically, but because of the behavior, it's impacting their academics. They require that additional support in behavior. So some of our students are being pulled to a smaller setting to address those behaviors, either to show them how to de-escalate, how to cope with their anger, sometimes their routines. They have difficulty transitioning, so those are the times that they're being pulled into a smaller setting to address that. And our behavioral programs at the elementary and middle school, even at the high school, our mental health clinicians are attached to these programs. So we have the behaviors attached to the elementary and to the middle school, and she provides consultation on a weekly basis to our staff. We have the RISE program, and I know I've used a lot of acronyms. At the end, I did write the acronyms out. Special ed, well known for acronyms, right? So we do have the RISE, a preschool program, which is a special day class at Robert Semple, and these students either require a routine of visual schedules, they're nonverbal, and they require an intensive program. So our students, when they're tested, they are either referred by North Bay or parent referrals. They come to us after they're tested. We determine the need of the student, and then they're recommended either for a special day class or just for speech, depending on the need. And that is also a service that continues to the K-5. So it is also at Robert Semple. Then we have the functional academic class at the high school. We don't have anything at middle school. And then the most restrictive, we have a few students at the NPS, and these are NPSs, different NPSs around. Some of them are within Solano County, and then we have a couple of students that are not within the county. I think I'm going to do this instead. All right, so this slide shows our assessments. So our assessments here are conducted by our school psychologists. And what our school psychologists, not only do they assess our students, they provide counseling, They also attend SST meetings. They also conduct assessments for 504s. So this is a reflection of how many ERMS assessments have been conducted in conjunction with an IEP. And IEP is an individual educationalized program. And then the amount of initials, these initials can be either referrals by teachers or by parents. So the psychologists have conducted an intensive amount. If you see here at the elementary level, we have a high number of referrals of initials, and we are working on our intervention process, our SST, how to provide those interventions first before we move into assessing for special education. That's still a work in progress. And then we have the triennials. Per law, we have to have every student that has an IEP be tested for special education eligibility every 3 years. And then the 504s. 504s has nothing to do with special education, but it's still a plan, a federal document that has to be followed by teachers. And those 504s can have as many accommodations or modifications depending on the student need. Now this piece right here is we have 2 mental health clinicians. Our 2 mental health clinicians, one we have overseeing all high school students. Then we have our new mental health, a temporary position, which oversees elementary and middle school, and then also is seeing students at Liberty High School. And these are the ERM stands for Educationally Related Mental Health Services, and those are assessments conducted. They also provide counseling. In addition to that, they conduct at-risk threat assessments, so do psychologists. I didn't have that data up there, but when there's a situation, an incident, at any of the school sites, if the school psychologist is not called, our mental health clinicians are called, and they have to go and attend, drop what they're doing. We just had a few cases this week. They drop what they're doing, and they have to go meet with the students to determine the need, if they're at risk, and if they are, then there's a protocol that is followed to get additional services and supports for the students. And this piece right here, I was able to do a comparison from 3 years back to this year. So we have every disability in what a student can qualify for special education. We have 13 disabilities, and students can qualify under one or under several disabilities. The importance is, as long as they qualify for one disability, then we determine the type of support that they need. So here, I was able to capture previous years, how our numbers have increased or decreased. And if you look at the current year, 2021 and 2022, we have speech and language impairment. We are at 93 students, but that doesn't mean that our caseload for speech and language is only 93. That's only the primary eligibility. Many of our students have a primary of specific learning disability or autism in addition to speech. So speech is one of the highest disabilities that is out there right now, because not only is it the primary, but it could be secondary. Then if you look at the emotional disturbance, we do have 31 students, but we are barely in March, so we still have a few more months, and I know that there are many students still waiting to be tested. And our specific learning disability is also at 193, and I know that we are still testing, and I would be coming at the end of the year to give you an accurate number of how many students have been tested for the entire year and make that comparison for previous years. Now here we have, I like to just keep count and collect the data as far as how many special education how many students in special education are enrolled each year. Last year we had 69. Last year we had 77, and then the previous we had 69. This year we have a total of 107 students, and this data is just tracked based on students enrolling in the district, and then the school sites we had to create at the beginning of the year 2 years ago a process for school sites to notify my office of new enrollment. So we were being notified of those students that had IEP. So that is how we were able to collect that data and keep track of students enrolling with IEPs. And then here's what I was talking about, speech and language services. We have a primary disability, and then we have a secondary disability. So speech and language is pretty high. Some of the data is a little difficult to gather when the when the students have more than 2 disabilities, and speech is not one of those 2. But there are several students, and this is the data contained from preschool all the way to 12th grade. And here are all of the acronyms. Thank you so much for your time. Any questions?
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? No? Thank you for sharing. We appreciate the input, not the input, but the information that is so deep. There's so much depth to it. So thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we are going to move on to, item number 13, Dr. Young.
Thank you very much. So this topic tonight, and Dr. Gill will be joining me. So as everybody knows, on Monday of this week, the governor made an announcement, and it was followed up by a report by Dr. Ghali, who's secretary for the California Department of Public Health, that the mask mandate for schools in California would expire on March 11th at 11:59 p.m. So what does that mean for us? So that means that the mask mandate will be lifted for public schools starting us on Monday the 14th. And in the language, and we did put something out to the public about this, that they are not required but strongly recommended. So that's a milestone event for public schools, and it signifies movement forward after 2 incredibly difficult and long years dealing with the pandemic. And as we move forward with that, and we work with our schools, we're going to be very mindful of what that looks and feels like out of school sites for students and staff, and supporting one another, because while the masks are not required, there will be individuals, students and staff, who feel comfortable wearing those masks. And we'll work very diligently on making sure we support an environment where people feel safe and supported doing that. And so we'll be focusing on that. The other thing I wanted to point out, that in this long journey that we've been on, as superintendent, I'm very pleased with the relationship that we have with both of our associations. That 1 year ago today, actually at the beginning of this year in August, when we entered into this school year, and we were looking at the ever-changing guidelines from the CDPH regarding how this is supposed to unfold in schools, we worked very closely with both of our associations, and we put the MOU together that I talked about at the last board meeting to address impacts and effects and issues around health. And nobody knew what this looked like. They did not know, none of us did, how we were going to implement this going forward. And one of the conversations with that was the discipline grid that we put together. And that was designed in a relationship with the association to make sure that we had systems in place to ensure that students were wearing the masks, and it was done to make sure that we were keeping everybody safe. And again, I just wanted to point out that we made quick work of that MOU. It didn't take us very long to put it together, We brought it to the board. You did approve that, and you knew what was in it. So that being said, we're making quick work of the change in the MOU again, and Dr. Gill will talk about that in just a moment. But this is a big moment for public schools and a signal that we're moving towards more normal times. So I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Gill to talk about the MOU process. Thank you, Dr. Gill.
Thank you, Dr. Young. Good evening, Dr. President, Miss President, and trustees and community members. So first of all, I want to give kudos to all of our staff members, our teachers, site administrators, classified staff. Times have been challenging, as we know, but everybody have been cheerleaders for our students, doing an amazing job, very touching, very emotional. So that is really, really beyond words that we can thank them for doing everything everybody's doing. And then secondly, as Dr. Young mentioned, relationship and trust goes long ways in doing work with unions, work with our teammates. Because I can proudly say I have been working with the same people for the past 5 years, I truly admire them from the bottom of my heart, because I work with them directly a lot personally, and I feel like we do have that trust. A deep trust where we talk to each other informally and we can resolve issues within minutes sometimes. So specifically this specific thing, what we are going to do, what we are doing is we have met with both of the unions last week and this week again. I shared with them last week getting their perspective, this week shared with them what the governors and the CDPH guidance is. Based on that, we work together with them. And when we were still working with CSE right now is to finalize the health and safety guidelines first, because every time CDPH changes, their guidelines are guidelines for the school district for health and safety related to COVID also change. So we updated those, working on those. Then in a very short couple sentence MOU with BTA, we're basically saying that any guidelines that have been changing in health and safety, those will supersede the August MOU, because August MOU talked about wearing a mask, staying, doing other certain things that don't apply anymore. So, which is really amazing. Again, we don't have to redo the entire MOU. We don't have to everything. Again, that goes back to building that trust and having that good relationship. And I will be having the same conversation with the CSE again to see if there's a desire to write a couple sentences, but they already have the health and safety guidelines. I already shared that with them. So I am very proud, and again, thanks to my huge friends and our management negotiations and team who were there, Dr. Beatson, Dr. Young, Ms. Krona, Terry Dean, they were there along with our BTA members today. And then with the CSA members, we met this week earlier as well. So huge thanks to our CSA leaders as well. One of them is standing right here. And again, because we have that good relationship, we can work together without any issues. So we'll be finalizing that in a day or two.
The changes will be...
Sure, the one in the health and safety guidelines, the major changes basically is the mask. Right, so like as Dr. Young said, starting the 14th of March, masks will be no longer required indoors. They'll be highly recommended, but not required from students and staff. Second is Ms. Dean, Terry Dean, our Assistant Director of Health Services, clarified to us that anybody who is close contact or have symptoms, because they used to be 3 to 5 days. She is saying the CDPH now saying after 5 days they're supposed to test. It's basically that kind of stuff. Nothing else is huge. The final other thing we are mentioning in there is that also the gatherings. Like we actually clarifying in there that we will actually let the sites have in-person promotions and graduations. As long as they can figure out a way to do them outdoors, that would be really good. And those type of specific things. Now, once those health and safety guidelines are finalized, we will share those with the employees. Based on that, we will also update our COVID-19 safety plan That's required by Cal OSHA for us to do, which also will send a link to the community of that plan as well.
So we can expect that we will see graduations? Is that what I'm understanding you saying? Yes.
Promotions and graduations in person.
And-
As long as there's no major changes between now and then from CDPH or
And we'll see changes to the discipline grid as well?
the discipline grid will be deleted from, is not going to be part anymore. Discipline grid's gone. Let me quickly look at the MOU real quick, or this have, yeah. So what we said was, give me 1 second. So masks we talked about already, the 5 days for testing, and then we also talked about open house. Open house still, they're asking it to be virtual, but at least we will have open house, but they'll be still virtual, like high school did theirs already. And we are also saying that, again, promotions and graduations can be held outdoors, weather permitting, of course, in person. And then large group meetings can be held in person or virtually, depending on the need of the place or for the people in the moment. There was one thing Miss Dean did say. She said that there is still a recommendation that if there is going to be a big, huge group of people indoor, that masks are recommended indoors if you have 200, 300 people indoors right next to each other or so on. Those are recommended. And then we talked about assessing these again if needed. And the discipline grade is deleted.
All right, that sounds great. Thank you for answering that.
Definitely, definitely. Again, want to thank everyone, especially our BTA and CSCA team leaders and our wonderful staff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm
Good
so
news.
glad we're transitioning.
Definitely.
Right now, it takes a little time, but we got 6 more days. No, wait, 6 more days left.
Yes.
6 more days of school, and
Yes.
then it's going to loosen up, and it's wonderful.
Thank you.
I did want to ask though, are we able to open the water fountains?
Yes.
At this, okay, so that's going to happen on that Monday also?
They've been happening.
They're doing it now.
Right.
Okay, all right.
I saw that when I walked.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you, both of you. I'm going to move on to our last item of the evening, which is our selection of the superintendent search firm. We are revisiting, we had some concerns with the company that we initially were going to hire to do this executive search for our next superintendent. And we revisited because of some issues that came up. And so I would like to put a motion on the table that we not continue to work with McPherson and Jacobson, and continue and added that we would like to set up the contract with Leadership and Associates. So that's my on the table. That's the motion.
I'll move to second that.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
President Seda?
Yes.
Trustee Moss?
No.
Trustee Ferrucci?
Yes.
And Trustee Maselli?
Yes.
All right, thank you. So we will be moving forward with leadership at this time. Oh, and just so those of you at home know, Leadership and McPherson and Jacobson both presented at the meeting a few weeks back, and it was between 2 different firms, and we've now decided to change to Leadership Associates. So we'll move forward. You know, we're going to move forward and get this job done. So I thank you for your patience and understanding with the change. And at this point, I am going to adjourn our meeting.
Before we adjourn the meeting, can I make a request?
Sure.
That at some point we come forward. I am expecting we'll be talking about some data soon, but I'd really like to see the reading data for our primary grades coming forward. We, again, have put a lot of money into additional staff to support that. And Dr. Young reminded me of that when he talked about Benicia Reads, and our goal is to have every third grader on grade level. So I'd like to see the data, if that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we can say
good question. So our next regular board meeting is going to be on March 17th, 2022. I thank you for attending, all of you on the computer. Thank you for being here, and we will see you on March 17th. Thank you. Good night.